My focus is mostly on functional art. I've been creative pretty much my whole life, but moving out here brought about a need to be able to create the functional goods that I wanted to put into our household that I couldn't find elsewhere. And so that threw me into this whole journey of making all these functional goods in different ways, like blacksmithing, stonemasonry, woodworking, lino cut, broom making. I started out just looking for a class that just ran through the basics, doing traditional broom making. So the basic styles like a whisk, a pot scrubber, a cobwebber. The twine that I use is a 140-pound test, and I've snapped it 4 times in the past year making brooms because I'm pulling them so tight. It's so tight that when I'm pulling on a broom, it's like plucking a banjo string or something. It's not light work making a broom. It's highly physical, and it's like doing upright rows all day long, over and over and over again. If they're not tied tight enough, they will absolutely fall apart and just won't last very long in general. I've been developing the Merg style technique for 2.5 years, so almost 3 years now. Merg style brooms are, I like to say, artfully assembled out of dyed corn so that they depict an image on the cut handle end of the broom. And it's a process that is incredibly tedious because when you're making brooms, the corn likes to shift around a lot as you're tying them. The handle ends of my brooms aren't cut so that I can get full color saturation from the dyed corn, because I can't color them after the fact without it like standing out and being like very, very obvious. With some like the cat face brooms, getting a single line for the whiskers is incredibly difficult, but if I don't get that single line, then it doesn't look right. Most of the time people think that they're painted or colored at first, and then I have to be like, no, they're actually assembled this way. You know, you can see from the bottom of the broom that all of those little pieces that make up the face, all those colors are in there.
One of the most common questions I get when people see my Merg style brooms for the first time is, are you just coloring the ends? And the answer is no. And I messed up this broom in the process of making it. So today I'm going to cut the band off and show you that yes, they actually are just stacked up that way.
Probably made 100 Merg style brooms before I made one that I was like, okay, this is actually really good and I'm really proud of this. By the time I did end up releasing Merg style brooms, I had a little bit of a name in the broom making community and enough respect to go along with that. I do get a lot of people pushing me, asking me how I do it, if I teach classes in it, if I'm going to teach classes in it. And for right now, the answer is no, but in the near future, that may change. I think it being functional art is why I've been able to stick with it for so long. Honestly, I think if I was making something that wasn't so functional, like a painting, I would probably get bored with it a little bit faster. I try to make sure that every single one of my Merg style brooms is a functional broom, even though most people don't want to use them. So that's a big part of my focus. More so than the images that I'm putting together is that every broom is functional and is made to last. That moment when I pull the ripcord and I look at the end and it's flush and the image has come out cleanly and it's like a sigh of relief, like, okay, this one it made it through the process and it doesn't get to live on my wall of shame with the rest of them. The first yin yang style broom is still hanging from the door over there. So that's a nice reminder of how far I've come. Making has become just part of the everyday normal living out here. It became just a part of my life. Now if I go a day without making, I feel off, like something's not quite right, And I think some of it is just that it brings me a lot of peace.